So this video is for the purple group for lesson 74. It's just the workbook section. Right now you guys have already completed the textbook and the homework for it, so it's just this workbook part. But there is an explanation. There's a box in the textbook for lesson 74. So have your textbook out if you want to follow along your textbook. Otherwise, I've got the picture for it on the next slide. So listen to the explanation of what we're doing and then do the workbook activity. And then when you're done, make sure to check in with the teacher. This is the part from the textbook that explains what you're going to be doing in the workbook. So you can either follow along on the screen with me, or you can open your book to lesson 74, part 7. So follow along while I read. It says that you can find the area of triangles shown on the coordinate system. So remember, the coordinate system is the grid where we've got our x-axis and our y-axis. And it says that you start with a rectangle and draw a diagonal line. Diagonal line is side to side like this on an angle. That line goes from one corner to the opposite corner. So it goes from one corner of the rectangle to the other corner of the rectangle. The line divides the rectangle into two triangles. You can see here how they have it colored different. This is one triangle and this is another triangle. So a rectangle is just two triangles that have been put together. So each triangle has exactly half the area of the rectangle you started with. So remember, when you're doing area of a rectangle, we're finding this whole space here. But if I want to know just how much is in the green area, it's exactly half of what I got for the rectangle. Right? The reading continues. So it's showing you, here's a triangle shown on the coordinate system. You know that the area of a triangle is half the area of a rectangle with the same base and the same height. So you complete the rectangle. So if they give you this triangle, what you have to do is then, if you know that this is where it ends, you just draw the line straight across like they did here, and then go straight down just like they did here, and now we've got our rectangle. So to figure out the area of the triangle, you figure out the area of the entire rectangle, and then you just divide the area in half. So here's the equation for area of a triangle. So we know that area, if we're doing area of just a rectangle, we know that we have to do base times height. So when we're doing it, base times height. But because it's a triangle, we know that triangles are half, we divide it by 2. Remember, the fraction bar here can mean divided by. So base times height divided by 2, and you'll figure out the area of just the triangle. So go ahead and open up your workbook and we'll practice this. So first we're going to do the sample problem that we have here. So they gave us a triangle on a grid. We see that the base is 4, and we see that the height is 5. So the first thing that I can do in order to picture what I'm really working with is to make the full rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the corner of the triangle that's up here, and I'm just going to draw it straight across to complete it to the number 5. And then I'm going to bring it back down so that the height over here matches the height on the other side. So you can see now that I've filled in this extra part so that I have a rectangle that goes all the way around. So in order to figure out the area of a rectangle, we know that the area is equal to the base times the height. So to find the rectangle, the base is 4 times the height. Remember, height is how tall it is, so it's going to go up to the number 5. So I have 4 times 5. So that's the area of this whole rectangle. But we want to find the area of just the gray shaded part. So remember that I'm going to do base times height, but I need to divide it by 2. So here I've got the base of 4 and the height is 5, and I'm going to divide it by 2. So as I'm solving it, I know that 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm going to divide that by 2. So I can't leave it as 20 divided by 2. I have to do it again as 20 divided by 2 is 10. And you know that because we're doing area, it has to be squares. And that's your clue, is because it's on the coordinate system and we're doing area, we know that it has to be square. And they've given us the unit here, inches. Okay, that's your full answer right there. 10 square inches. And so even if you were able to count these up, if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, even if you count up those little half ones and put them together, this triangle, when we talk about the area is how many squares does it cover, it covers 10 squares. So go ahead and do the same thing. I'll go ahead and write out the formula just so you can have it on the screen as you're working. So the area of a triangle is equal to the base times the height divided by 2. So make sure to ask for help if you need it. Just apply the formula. Make sure that as you're trying to solve these, that you are trying to picture what the rectangle would look like, and then using the same formula we did for area of a rectangle, where you did base times height, except we just added the extra step for triangle is divided by 2. So finish the rest of these problems and then check it in with a teacher, and then you're all done with 74.